Hello, everybody. It's been a solid minute since I've seen any of y'all. So, first of all, good to see y'all Soliday Scooppers again. And for those of you listening on SoundCloud, good to be having y'all back again. Now, I know it's been a solid minute since we've done this. So, checking in with everybody, seeing how everybody's doing in their lives. Soliday Scooppers, feel free to comment below. We are accepting any and all comments that you might have. And we just want to kind of know what's going on in your world. I know most of y'all are students and are probably dealing with the stress and anxiety that comes with the halfway mark of the semester, because I know a good bit of y'all that have the midterm fun coming up, and I already took my midterms and I'm about to start the next part of the semester very shortly. But first, I wanted to take this little break because I want to talk about the fact that it's important to pause and reflect in life. And sometimes we don't always feel that we have the time to pause and reflect, if that makes sense, because we're literally always in a hurry trying to get things done for no reason, or sometimes you might think there's a good reason behind while you're trying to get it done and you're kind of in the process and you're just like, I need to get it done because the assignment's due at like midnight or something. First of all, procrastination is a thing, and if you are waiting till the very last minute and you're rushing through an assignment, it's not going to be as good as taking your time with the assignment. And then I know a bunch of y'all right now are thinking, well, I work and I don't have time to just do school and all this and that. Well, I work too, and I make time for school, and I try really hard not to procrastinate. And I'm going to be honest, I do procrastinate sometimes myself, but at the same time, I make sure that I allow myself enough time to give the assignment my full attention so I can give it my best work. And sometimes, especially recently, I have noticed that as humans, we always rush. We're not always, how you say, perfect. And we tend to strive for that perfection in life, to get everything just right. And it's not the craziest thing to want, but it's also the most impossible but yet important thing in life, if that makes sense, which is confusing because how can something be both impossible and important? So it's important that you personally realize, and this is where the reflection time comes in. So I want all the Soliday Scooppers to take a moment this week, whether it's an hour, or even if it's just 30 minutes. Take a moment, reflect, and realize that we're not all perfect. I'll say that again. We're not all perfect. But yet, we all strive for perfection in life. And it's sort of impossible because it's this impossible goal that we're pursuing, which is going to create the most negative impact ever, because when you realize that you set your standards too high for your own goal, like, I need to get perfect on this test. I have to pass this test completely perfect. I need an A. But you miss a couple questions and your grade goes down and you end up getting a B. And then you're like freaking out because you're like, dadgummit, I got a B on this sucker. And I was hoping to get an A. And if you set your standards too high, basically what I'm saying is you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And you do not, believe me, do not want to set yourself up for disappointment. Why? might you not want to set yourself up for disappointment? That's a great question. Well, I'm glad you asked. Why you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment is because it will start to cause you more stress, more anxiety, and it will eventually get to the point where it affects your health, your relationships, not just with family, but with friends as well, and how you feel about yourself. And I'd like to emphasize that last one about how you feel about yourself. It's important to have a good self-worth value. You have to be confident, you have to be courageous, and you have to be willing to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you're technically not being honest with others, even if you are in denial, which is another whole thing. But it's, in a nutshell today, we're going to just kind of sum it up, that you need to have self-worth, self-value, and self-confidence. And sometimes, we're going to be honest here, sometimes all three of those things feel so impossible that it's not going to happen. Self-confidence, self-worth, and courageous. It's not unheard of or weird, if you want to put it in simple terms. It's not weird to feel such a way. That is why it is important that you have a community or a friendship or someone in your family that you feel you can talk to, because if not, it's going to get even more negative, and it's going to cause isolation, loneliness, and increase your stress more, which is not good for your health. It's not good for your confidence, and it's not good for you as an individual. So it's important that you pursue life in such a way that you're going to stay positive, but not overly positive. Don't set your standards too high and set yourself up for failure, because it is important that you feel successful and succeeding, and you know what your goals are in life, and you have this path that's in front of you, that you know where you want to go, and you're not doing it just because somebody else wants you to do it. You need to know your personal goals, and knowing your own personal goals can also be a whole confusing thing, because the only way you're going to know is if you pick your own brain. And it can be annoying sometimes, because you gotta think, and you need to take the time to reflect, which is what this whole episode is about. You need to know how to reflect so you can pick your own brain, and you could give yourself a reasonable goal to get to. Don't do something just because somebody else says, well, this worked out for me, so I think it will work out for you as well. Or don't be doing the opposite, where you think you want to do something, and you're ready to go for it, and you're about to go for it, but then you have this person that tells you, well, I already did that, and it didn't work out for me. Just because it didn't work out for somebody else doesn't mean it's not going to work out for you. You are your own person, and you are nobody else. You are you, and you need to know what that means to be you. You have your own path that you need to follow in life, but you need to figure out what that path is, where you want the path to eventually lead you to, with the overall goal that you can sort of kind of see, but aren't sure how to get there. And that's when you have friends, and if you're lucky, family that can help you, and you find the people and you make the connections that help you get to that goal that you kind of have off in the distance but can't really figure out, all right, where do I need to turn to get to that goal? How do I get there? And it's important that you don't overwhelm yourself by adding too many goals to the list or too many eggs in one basket. So you think, okay, I found it. I found out how I'm going to do this. If I go right, I'll get there quicker and it's going to work out. And no, don't do that, because you want to acknowledge the fact that there's always more than one way to get to your goal. There's not a set straight path. Everybody has this curly kind of like, all right, well, if I go this way, this can happen, but if I go this way, this can happen. And then you personally got to make the choice using your own free will about which way you want to go. So the best analogy I can give is it's like a ladder. Okay, everybody close your eyes, picture this. There's this ladder put in front of you, and you can sort of climb it, but you're given these pieces that you need to add into the ladder to help you get to the top, to get to the flag at the top. So you need to figure out which piece goes where, sort of like a puzzle, so you can get to that goal at the top, the flag in the analogy. And it's important that we hear other people's stories, because we need multiple viewpoints about how we're going to get there and multiple perspectives. And you need to make sure you do the research and you get the facts about how it works out. And the only way you can really know is by asking somebody that has done it or by doing it yourself. And in order to get the facts and the evidence to back up how you want to do something, you are going to, unfortunately, have to talk to other people and get other perspectives, but do not take the perspective so much to heart that it sways you away from your ultimate goal at the top. Now, I want all the Soliday Scooppers listening to this to take a moment, take some time, reflect, think about what your goals are. If you feel comfortable, comment your goals below and we'll discuss how you feel, what you think you need to do, and if you think of any more topics that you want to covered here on the Soliday Scoop, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to talk about them, whether it's through another podcast or if you want to live chat here on YouTube, just let me know. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more information. Check out the links below.